We're back.
We're back. I'm sorry. Anybody that left us, I've touched something and I shouldn't have touched it. I'm not touching anything near the computer other than like if you comment. I love that Bilford said Rutro. It's true. It was my bad. Brad is laughing at me the whole time. This man has got on my nerves, man. But what I was trying to do,
I do what I do.
you do what you do, and I guess I messed up what I did. But yeah. So what I was about to say is to kind of find out around when and when this took place. Uh, we know that Teddy Duchamp um, was his father was he stormed the beach in Normandy, so it had to be somewhere after 45, right? Or 40,
Yeah.
40 something, whenever that happened. But
It's
yeah,
probably in the 50s. It really probably is.
but you mentioned earlier the soundtrack to this movie
Yeah.
is is another character in this film.
Yeah, I even said this earlier. In that aspect, it reminds me of Iron Eagle. Because when I'm hearing the songs pop up, I'm rocking to it at the same time I'm watching the movie. I'm having a great time. I really am. And
Lollipop,
Lollipop.
oh lolly 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 lolly. I'm not gonna do it. Boom 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 boom. But yeah,
he did it.
I didn't. I wasn't gonna put the finger in the mouth though. I don't put my finger in my mouth. That's nasty, man. Now your hands out.
I will wash them after the podcast.
Anyway, so oh my gosh,
I haven't done that since like the 5th grade.
Well, you can still do it, I guess.
I can still do it, yeah.
But anyway, the story you can see these friends felt like real friends.
Oh yeah, they felt like real friends. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, they did. And then like
the
story started with I don't want to call him Fat Kid.
Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah, what's his name?
Jerry.
In this movie. Dang, bro.
I don't. He was like I remember Gordy
Vern.
the most.
Vern. So Vern.
Gordy and Bill.
It starts with Vern overhearing his brother. So there's a kid that was missing that ran away, and they expect him to be dead. They pretty much tell you at the very beginning, like, oh, yeah, he probably was walking and got blammo nighttime, got hit by a train, and so that's probably that's what happened, But
I always thought he got stabbed.
I think
by Kiefer. I always thought Kiefer killed him.
Really? Where'd you get that?
I don't know. I have my childhood memories are very different from what actually happened.
What you watched. But yeah, so they said, well, hey, we can go out and find this body and we can claim it and get a reward. And they're like, oh yeah, you can say I'm sleeping at your house. I'm sleeping at your house. And so they decide to strike out on the railroad tracks to find this body. I want to tell this quick story. It's remind me of when I was 13 years old. It was my 13th birthday. In '93, a friend of mine, Jerry Eskridge. If you're watching, I'm gonna call your name out. So Jerry Eskridge, and it was Jerry Eskridge, me, Tierra Hill, Jerry Martin, and I feel like there was somebody else. It might have been Billy Taylor. I'm not sure, but yeah. So we all were like, hey, Jerry and Jerry Eskridge and Jerry Martin was like, there was over at this golf course. It was it's called Hobson Grove Golf Course. They said they was over the other day and they found like a rib cage in the water that's playing around. And they found a rib cage like a body, and so literally they said, hey, at the school, we was on the bus. They said, hey man, at the school, we're gonna walk up here and see if we can find it, and turn it in, get a reward, to tell people what we did. And so 13-year-old me, we're like, all right, that's fine. So we walked a long walk from the Parker Bennett Center all the way to Hobson Grove Golf Course, which was through the projects. You got to cross through the projects, cross over this farmland at the time. There wasn't a lot of buildings there. Cross over this farmland and walk up this hill to get to the golf course. And we finally made it. We was kind of creeping around there. And when we was making it there, some people seen us. They said, hey, kids. And they screamed at us, and then they shot a gun, and we started running, and and I got caught in some barbed wire or thorn bush or something, like that. And I got caught and I couldn't really get through. Everybody left me except for Jerry Eskridge. Jerry Eskridge came back and got me.
He's your Bill.
Yeah, he's my Bill. He came back and got me and rescued me. And we walked way back. We walked the country way, like Richardsville Roadway, back to Bowling Green, and or back into the city. And we just was talking about like all these life changing, almost dying type of scenarios. But that's crazy because honestly, after that, that's the last time a lot of us, like this movie, is the last time a lot of us really talked and spoke. You know, some of us stay close. Me and Jerry stay close and stuff, but a lot of us really didn't after that time frame. And this movie resonated with me. Did you ever go on like little adventures like that?
Me and my friend Chris would go on some little adventures. He lived up the road from me, and like I said, we had a creek behind my house that we kind of made up urban legends that what happened in there with indents and burial grounds, and so I mean we always had these weird, silly ideas. You know, our imagination just ran wild.
Mm-hmm.
And we did have a couple other friends that would sometimes tune in, Craig and Clint, and sometimes Pulley. Pulley was kind of the bully of them. You know, he was kind of the keeper.
We all had a bully.
Yeah, he was kind of the keeper. Jonathan, me and Jonathan used to do something. You know, we used to hang out and go on a little mini adventures too. But nothing like that. Like we didn't go looking for no bodies or nothing.
You see what you get into, pretty much.
But I did have a Sandlot moment one time though.
Really? Were you chased by a dog?
No, I wasn't chased by a dog, but I was hit by the ball, the baseball.
Oh wow!
Like hit me right in the eye.
Oh no!
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was.
Did you have to go to the emergency room?
No. I had to put they put a stake on my eye.
It's pretty much like a Sandlot.
Josh's mom, Jan, and her husband, Doug, they was like, you need to put that steak on his eye. It's gonna really swell up. And that's like, and I remember crying. Oh, I was a big old baby. I mean, I was crying the whole time. Yeah, remember the baseball? Oh, you know.
That's funny. But that's crazy how both of us had similar stories that like related to these two coming of age films.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, man, it's about these kids and they go on this journey. And it reminds me. Well, you mentioned this. I think Summer of '84 copied not only the characters, but the coming more adult within the journey, like they did in this film. Because the characters, you can tell it started off as like a game to them in this movie.
Yeah,
it started off like a game. We're like, hey, we didn't go. Oh, you didn't pack no money. Oh, we got $2 and let's go get some, and then like they're going on this journey and but at the same time they evolving as characters and becoming like all of them, every character in this film has their own baggage and own like type of story.
I mean, I agree. I was curious. I was going to ask you this because I wanted to ask. Like, who did you relate to the most?
Actually, honestly, I relate to Gordy LaChance the most.
I thought that might be it.
I'm big now, but I wasn't a heavyset kid. But I felt misunderstood as a kid. I felt, you can tell Gordy feels a bit lonely, even though like in the midst of folks, and that's kind of how I come off or feeling a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that he was creative though, and I was always told I was a very creative kid. But people like I also like Gordy's relationship with his dad was similar to my relationship with my dad, although in the sense of like my father and me, our relationship now is great. But growing up,
I feel you now.
Growing up, my father and I always felt that I disappointed him as a son because I wasn't really into like
sports.
No, my dad. It was.
Oh, that's my story.
It was like outdoor work, like building fences
Yeah,
or
too.
doing cars or I wasn't really into that or mowing
Aaron and I are
yards.
basically the same person.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
And so and so this movie, like I hurt for Gordy in the sense of like he was really, and they showed the scene where he wasn't really seen by no one in his family other than his big brother Denny. Denny saw him. Denny saw his worth and seen who he was as a human being. But like they're sitting at a table and he's like, "Mom, pass the." He has two or three of them, like mom and dad. We pass the mashed potatoes, and nobody's paying attention to him. They're talking to Denny. Well, you're gonna go play college football, son. You got to do this and this and this. And then he's like, Gordy wrote an amazing story, and then like his mom like, oh, what is your story about, dear? And then the father's like, that's dumb writing stories, you should put your head and do something else, and I felt that way. I was more into honestly video games and stuff like that. In wrestling, I wasn't into basketball and stuff. I was awkward because I didn't get it. I didn't know until Space Jam. I didn't know who Michael Jordan was because it wasn't something I was into.
Yeah.
I wasn't into basketball, so I didn't care.
Yeah, I watched sports due to my brother. He played football. So I tried to play football. I just didn't have the heart for it. I didn't have the interest.
Mm-hmm.
I was more like you. I wrote stories, and I actually wrote stories and I kept it from my family.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I knew that they didn't approve or they wouldn't understand. I think I'd be the correct term. They wouldn't understand. It's like, what? You're part of this family? You're writing stories? It kind of reminds me of the John Lithgow character. What you got to write about? You're not sad. You're not depressed. From Orange County.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, I was creative like you were, and I kept it kind of a secret for a long time.
Mm.
So I totally relate to Gordy as well.
Yeah, but that's the character in here that I related to the most. I would say that I did have a friend like Chambers, which is River. That was my friend Joey Smith. He's now passed away. Just like Chambers is gone. And both died violently, unfortunately. But Joey's murder has not been solved, and we still want it to be solved and resolved. Not to take it to a dark place, but it's something that we still want. But growing up, it's crazy. No matter what, Joey always was there and had my back and just was almost like a protector.
Yeah.
And I just he's still missed. But yeah, so I can totally relate to this movie.
Yeah.
You had a crazy friend. You had that one crazy friend that like was a risk taker, and you're like, come on, man, don't do that. That was in my opinion, it was also Joey. He was kind of crazy, but
yeah, I think for me, the Bill character would have probably been Josh. He also died at an early age.
Call him Bill.
His name's Bill.
Is it Bill?
Bill Chambers.
Is it really Bill Chambers?
I'm pretty sure it is.
I always thought that it was called Chris Chambers.
Maybe I'm getting the name mixed up.
Yeah, I was
thought
like,
they said Bill.
Bill was in It.
I know.
I don't think.
You're right. It's Chris.
Yeah, I don't think Stephen King.
I'm getting the names confused. It's Stephen King related though. So.
Yeah.
Okay, Chambers. I'm just gonna go Chambers.
Chambers, yeah.
Chambers would have been Josh for me. As I said, he died early. He died 5 days before his 21st birthday.
Oh man.
Yeah, it still hits me hard. I always still feel sad around that time. And crazy friend though. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I kind of would have been the crazy friend.
Just the crazy one. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But yeah, so I can totally relate to these guys. You mentioned it, and I want to talk about this again. Not River, but Corey Feldman. What's his character?
Teddy.
We're just gonna call him Teddy. Yeah.
I had to think.
Yeah, it's Teddy. Yeah. So Teddy came from a broken home. His father stormed the beach of Normandy, came back with PTSD. This is something that they didn't really know about. They just came back changed.
Yeah.
And you don't ever see his father, but his father one night in his fits burnt Teddy's ear to stove, and in the movie you see a burnt ear, and he wears glasses because he needs corrective vision, but he's also very very crazy. He's almost like a younger version. Like when you think of Kiefer Sutherland's character in this movie, you think of him being a combination of both Chambers and Teddy, like a combination of them two, in my opinion. But just like he has the poise of Chambers. Like he's not like crazy acting like Teddy,
No, he's very calm.
but he's very calm. But he's also he has that death wish that Teddy
He
has.
definitely does have a death wish.
Yeah.
Going
Kiefer was so good in this movie. Kiefer was gold, man.
Kiefer nailed supporting roles early on
Mhm.
in his career that got him starring roles. Like I would say Lost Boys is one. This is one. I would even say Young Guns as Doc is one.
Mhm.
Because he's in the shadow of Emilio in that movie. Everybody is Doc. So I mean,
Freaking Emilio Estevez, man.
Yeah. But later on, he got Flatliners, which is another supporting role.
Yeah.
He nailed all of them.
He's the one I noticed the most, and then Julia. I noticed Julia after Kiefer in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget who's actually the main character. Is it Kevin Bacon?
Oh, Kevin's in there too.
Yeah.
Dang it!
I
We
mean,
got to review that. I ain't seen that in years.
I want to review the remake though.
I would not.
I haven't even seen it. I don't want to.
Mm-mm.
I mean, in fact, it's on streaming. I'll watch it when I get streaming. But,
When you get stream. But yeah, no, I agree. Kiefer.
Yeah, he just nailed everything, and he's so good in this. Like, I hate it when I have to dislike Kiefer when he plays a prick.
Yeah,
because he's so good.
He's so good at it.
And he's like one of my all-time favorite actors. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I love Kiefer. Always have, always will. I don't feel he's done a bigger role than Jack Bauer, but all these small roles led to him becoming Jack Bauer.
Yeah.
I see a little bit of everything he's done in Jack Bauer.
Yeah,
so,
I agree with that. But yeah, so he is the protagonist, the antagonist rather, in this film. To an extent, he is the foreboding. I want to talk about this before we keep moving into the plot of this film. Stephen King is excellent with writing movies that deal with death of a family member and how the family copes around that. Like, if you think about it, Georgie, with the loss of his brother, he pretty much vanished in the background. Like, so it makes me wonder if Stephen had a sibling that died or something, because he's so good at writing those. Like, it's like come from a real place.
I don't think so.
But he's so good at it.
I remember reading he did talk about his brother or a family member, but I don't think they died. Because it was asked. It was on Stephen King on Writing.
Mm-hmm.
I read that a few years back because I'm very interested in writing actual novels now more than screenplays. And I was just, if you're going to read somebody and get inspiration and advice, who better than to read Stephen King on Writing? Mm-hmm. But I don't think I remember died. I remember there was one story he told where they were really poor and they had adventures. That's what led up to like Stand By Me, and it comes from his brother. I do believe. Sorry, Pop.
But yeah,
just ran right into my fist.
But yeah, I mean, if you think about like sometimes they come back, sometimes they come back again. Like he always has movies that deals with a sibling. That's like a motif in his film, in his stuff.
I would say
not just movies, but yeah, he must have. But also, if you ever watch Castle Rock, these characters are mentioned in Castle Rock because it's like it's because it's a shared universe. Castle Rock.
Yeah, I know this film, this story takes place in Castle Rock.
Yeah,
I noticed that when they said it at first. Oh, yeah. It's like
yeah. I love.
I never did pick up on Castle Rock.
Castle Rock
back then.
Yeah, Castle Rock is I think fictitious to Maine, but yeah, it's just. Man, it's just a great. There is really a dairy, but I don't think it's in Maine. I think it's in New Hampshire. But yeah, this movie though, they go on this journey, and Teddy, you remember they cross the fence, and and he's already Gordy was feeling bad because the guy keeps bringing up his brother, and you know what that's like. If you've lost a loved one, you know, honestly, sometimes you don't want to hear folks say, "Oh yeah, you know," like not only did they say, "Oh yeah, it's sad what happened to your brother," but they pretty much say, "Are you like your brother? Like
Yeah.
you are you gonna beat that legacy?" And he's like, "No, I don't know." He actually said, "I don't know what I want to do. I don't know who I
Yeah.
am."
That also reminds me of when he's getting the stuff to buy stuff, and the guy
Mhm.
is talking about his brother. Says, "You play football?"
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like no. It's like, what do you do? It's like I don't know. You
He
know,
hasn't
it's like,
he hasn't figured out who he was, and this is what this journey is. Also, you know, to find out who you are. But yeah, sick balls though. Let's talk about that.
Did you just say sick balls?
Yeah, yeah, sick balls.
That was a funny scene because you're expecting Cujo from that scene.
You know, it's funny. It Sandlot so much copied that too. But yeah, pretty much. Sandlot copied this one. Like this movie has been copied.
It's the defining coming of age
Yeah,
movie.
absolutely. But yeah. So there's in this movie, it reminds me of growing up about my grandmother's house. One of my neighbors had a dog that kind of, to me, as a kid, I bet you it doesn't now. Like now, if I was an adult to look back at then, I'm pretty sure it didn't look like Cujo. But for me, it looked like Cujo. And we used to say, okay, we're trying to run because to get to my grandmother's house, we had to pass the school, pass Parker Bennett Carey or Parker Bennett Center, and then run across this field and to get to my grandmother's backyard. And the dog was like the neighbor's dog, and he was always in the back at his doghouse with a long chain, and we would run and try to make it there. And at the same time, you like, oh, you don't know if that chain's about to break. You just like really like getting really close. But that's what it reminded me of. It just took me back to being that kid.
Yeah, Chris had a dog. He had a pit bull that I was afraid of. So that scene kind of reminded me of that too. But as far as dogs that look like real dogs from like classic movies or TV shows, Clint's sister had a dog look just like Lassie. I mean, exactly like.
Really?
Yeah, it was the most beautiful dog I've ever seen in my life. Still remember it to this day. It was amazing. I always wanted that dog, but didn't happen. But anyway, never got that dog. But yeah, I mean, I remember the bulldog though, and I mean, every time I would see the bulldog out in the yard, I would stand still or I would fall down, literally fall down. I was fearful of that dog, and I remember he's like, he won't bite you. I don't know. You look at that bulldog, he looks angry. He looks like he's ready to eat something. I was like, and I remember finally I did pet him, and he was fine. And it was like, but it took me like a month just to pet him.
Just that
I lived in fear for a month.
Just like that. And he says, the writer says, the narrator Richard says, that was my first moment when I realized that sometimes the legend is the reality doesn't really fit the legend.
Yeah.
Because the legend is this big dog. It's like, and then, but when he sees the dog, it's like, oh, that's the dog that everybody's afraid of, But then, like, they're teasing the dog.
Sandlot did still that.
Yeah, and then the guy was like, I know you. You're Teddy. You're West Name's son. Your father's off in the loony bin, And he just started like really like just making him just like upset and and then Jerry O'Connor Byrne tried to help the situation by like singing the song that they're singing all cheerfully.
Mm-hmm.
But at that moment it was a different trip. The trip is now changed a bit,
Yeah, it was. And I mean, that guy was a prick.
He's a prick, yeah.
I mean, to bring up something like that, I mean, but I mean, people are cruel. What's the dog doing?
The dog's licking himself. That's what dogs do.
That's what dogs do. But yeah, I mean, it was. But I would say one of my favorite scenes is the train scene when they're running from the train. Like I love that. And what was his name? Byrne.
Burn, yeah.
He just falls down. It's like
no. Yeah, that's Burn.
I'm gonna stay here. I don't want to die. I'm just gonna stay here.
We're gonna talk about the most epic scene. So there's two major train scenes. One is first when they first see a train first early into the trip, and Teddy wants to play chicken with the train, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, it's gonna swerve," something like that, you know. But Chambers pretty much had to drag him off the track.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "You got death wish? Like, what's wrong with you, man?" You know, and and just it just was like, wow, this guy is crazy. But then like they get to a point where in their journey where they could either keep going, they could either they have to either go back and take a different route, which is gonna take more time to get there, or cross the tracks over a how big of a drop was it? They said
It
it's
was pretty big.
over 100-foot drop. They said, and my gosh, I would have went the other way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way I could have done. I've been that kid on the train tracks, and my bike stuck on the train, and I'm frozen because the train's coming, and I don't know what to do, and I can't get my bike off. And my friend and somebody came up and helped me out of nowhere.
I've never been on a train track in my life.
It just because to get to like back then we had a little community center called High Street. Those that live in Bowling Green know what I'm talking about. There's High Street growing up, and to get there you had to cross the L&N Depot train tracks. Back then the building was abandoned, but you got to cross those tracks, and I was not a strong kid, so my big huffy, my bike.
Your bike.
Yeah, Swift. I called it Swift, but my bike. I tried to lift it and I couldn't get it over the tracks, and it got like stuck, and the train was coming, and I thought I was about to die. I was like really scared, but somebody came like literally out of the bushes. They're like, help! You know, help me out and got me. You know, I was like, and they left, and it was just random. You know, I always thought it was an angel, in my opinion. But okay. But anyway, yeah, so that part, they walking the tracks, and Gordy feels like he has this ominous feeling that the train's coming. And he feels the tracks, and he says that train.
Yeah.
And Vern, so I would have died that day. I know me. I would have died that day.
So you would have been Vern. You just fell over and said, "I ain't getting up. I don't want to die, but I'm not getting up."
I think honestly, part of me would have just jumped into the water. Like I think that's would have been my first.
See, that's what I thought. I thought they jumped. They do jump, but I thought they jumped into the water. See, I had a. Well, my memories are not what they were.
But I thought train tracks had, like their train tracks was pretty close together. But I thought the train tracks had those, like had the space between them, and like I was always afraid of like, falling. Like I never crossed a bridge on the train tracks because there's a bridge where I live, Fair River. That bridge, man, and there's many people that have been hit by trains and died, landed in the water or whatever, or fell off the bridge just walking. Like there was literally a story growing up of a kid that was hit by a train because he was trying to cross that, and the train was coming and he had a bike and he didn't want to lose his bike, and the train hit them both. That was something that I don't know if my parents just told us that, so we just stay our butts off the tracks. But it worked, to an extent. I guess we still had to cross, but still.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh man. That part though, it was so intense.
It was intense.
Even though I've seen it before, I know what happens. It was so intense.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I was like, oh, I know they jump at some point, but it's like at the very end, and they jump up like on the gravel, the rocks area, not into the water.
He was crying.
I was like,
Bird was crying. I felt all that.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be crying in that situation, especially for a heavyset kid?
Yeah.
I mean, in that situation, because I was.
Would you have been burned in that situation?
I don't know if I would have actually fell over and started crying. So like, I don't want to die. But I think I would have froze. Okay. Definitely. And then and people would have had to push me and run. It's like, but I love that scene though. I mean, it's intense and it felt real, and it, oh man, it's just I love the intensity of that scene.
Yeah.
I mean, the train's coming, they're running. I mean, you got Corey and you got River, hit of the pack.
Yeah, they safe.
But you got
then they ushering them. Come on, run.
You got Jerry and Will, not so safe.
Yeah.
And you got Jerry falling down.
And he keeps like pushing, go, you know, because like any moment, if he falls again, they're dead.
Yeah.
You know, like at that point, if he would have fell again, I had to leave him. But then you got to explain that to your parents. Like, what were y'all doing? Like, they weren't supposed to be where they was at anyway. They're supposed to be at each other's house, you know. But yeah, oh man, it was a great scene. But then they made it to that one part where they can just sit down and is that when they had the dinner scene where they're eating?
Yeah.
And then it's talking about like they're smoking and talking about Goofy and you know and just like little conversation that kids would have. But I love how they acted so adult, but they weren't.
No, not at all. I mean, but they kind of do become adults by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And like Richard says in the movie, everything changed after that day, and it truly does, because the whole journey is to see this body.
Yeah.
Right.
And it became an obsession. He says it becomes an obsession for him. What's your thoughts on like he has this moment? Is that no? Like they were talking. That's when Chambers has his moment, and he starts crying.
Yeah.
Because like honestly, Chambers has been the strongest character throughout this whole film, and but then like as he's just having a moment talking to Gordy, he cries. He has that moment. Oh, before I get there, a minute. The Hobbit mentioned the pie eating contest because they asked Gordy to tell him a story, and as a kid, it's always confused me because I didn't know why they cut to the pie eating contest. And honestly, I thought that the kid from the pie eating contest was actually the kid that was dead on train tracks. That's who I thought it was in my mind. I thought that's who I was seeing. But now I saw that there's totally different kids. But yeah, so, what do you think about that story?
I think the story's great, and I also think it's Stephen King poking fun of himself.
Because they say how it ends.
Yeah, everyone complains he doesn't know how to write an ending.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of took a shot at that. And that's great that a writer of his magnitude can poke fun of himself. It's like I get criticized, I don't know how to end a story, so I'm gonna put in my story that this guy don't know how to end a story.
He mentioned between y'all two, who wins a pie eating contest?
Depends what kind of pie we're eating.
Depends on what type of pie, bro. Let's be real. Apple pie. It's not a contest because I'm just gonna eat the pie like normal. They had blueberries or whatever. What they have? Cherry pie?
I think it was blueberry.
Yeah, they had some type of.
Maybe it was cherry. Though.
I don't do blueberries, so I wouldn't have won that contest. Cherry pie, I would have ate cherry pie. I like cherries, so. But
I've never been in a cherry.
I've never been in a pie eating contest. I haven't been in any type of eating contest.
No, I haven't either.
Like I seen this meme one time where they showed these people like eating at a pie contest and just like eating. And they said, and then it shows this black dude sitting at the end with a fork. He said, "Nah, homie, free pie." So that'll be me. I'm just eating pie. But that story was great because this kid, Lardass, as they called him, Lawrence, yeah. But they call him that, and the whole town makes fun of him and pokes fun at him, and he got his revenge. He drunk a bottle of castor oil and raw eggs, and then he vomited on one person and created like a whole orchestra of vomit.
Yeah, it's kind of like dominoes falling.
Yeah,
it was with vomit,
and it was a great ending to the story. But then they're like, "Well, what happened to him?" He's like, "I don't know. He went home and ate 2 double cheeseburgers." I don't know. He said no. And then Teddy's like, "No, how about he kills his family and he kills his dad and then runs off to Texas?"
It goes dark.
It's like, what's wrong with you, man? But
Maybe Teddy is Stephen King.
I don't know. So Teddy could be very sociopathic, but trouble. But I think Kiefer is truly a sociopath. I don't think that he values human life at all.
I mean, no, he didn't even value his own. So playing chicken with that truck. I mean, no, he doesn't value life at all.
Yeah.
When you don't value your own life, you don't value anyone else's.
No.
So yeah.
Yeah, and his friends isn't really his friends as it's just they're there because they're convenient for him. It's not so much, hey, that's my buddy, I do what I can for him.
Exactly.
Yeah. We kind of know folks. But anyway,
not saying a word.
But anyway, so there is the so after the pie eating contest story and all that, they get to the pivotal scene of the leeches. This scene always messed me up. I've never seen a leech in real life.
Oh, I have. Oh, yes.
Do tell, Brandon.
I was at a lake. Went swimming with my
Jordan.
cousins. I got a same place too, darn it.
Oh no!
Is that there was no blood, thankfully. Not or at least not that much. You know, but yeah, same. I was freaking out.
It was having a good old.
I remember Tasha, my cousin Tasha. She was taking the leeches off. I think we all got them. It just I happened to get one down there.
Like, how did y'all notice? Did someone just see it?
Yeah.
On you or something?
Which we were warned there were leeches in the water, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years old. I don't know what a leech is. I was like, what's a leech?
Yeah, it's water. Let's get in the water.
Like, when people warn me of stuff, I don't heed the warning.
Unless you tell me, like, if you would have seen, what you didn't at the time, but I think if you would have seen maybe a Night of the Creeps before trying to go swimming, they said leeches, kind of like what you see on Night of the Creeps, you would have not got in. You would have, nope.
And honestly, I haven't really been swimming since.
I've been
truly swimming.
I've never.
I haven't been inside of a. I mean, I've been on a lake before. I've been in a boat, but I haven't been in the water in a lake since.
Oh, dang, bro! He said my ex-wife is a leech.
Well, that's very, very, very. I don't know what that is, Gopher.
Yo, fellas, hey, what's up, Ace? We're talking about Stand By Me. We're at the park talking about the leeches. But yeah, no, I've never experienced that. I went swimming in a lake once, maybe. But
do not recommend.
Maybe it wasn't a lake because it's in Nashville Shores. I don't know what you call that. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a lake. It is in Nashville Shores, but I've never been like to a real
lake. Been to a real lake?
I ain't getting no water. I'm black. We know our limits. I'm not saying we can't swim. I'm just saying there's too many elements that I can't control in that water. That's all I'm saying.
Aaron with his black theory.
Hey man, hey, we got to be real. That's why, Jordan Peele has a movie called Nope. I'm pretty sure it's just black dudes seeing something happen and be like, nope, and that's the end of the movie. If it is, I love it.
You know what? I hope there's a sequel and a white guy directs it. It's called Yep.
Yep, that's what I hope.
Or a spinoff. Yep, white people be doing this.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what. Nobody goes frozen.
We like adventure. We like,
death. Yes, I understand. That's why Jaws get Jaws. No black folks died because, nope. Anyway, back to leeches.
He can't even kill you. Mario Van Peebles, Jaws' revenge gets
because he
inside
wasn't
the
real.
shark,
He wasn't real.
being bitten like Quint, but he survives.
Well, hey, reparations. I don't know. Anyway,
reparations.
But anyway, let's see the comment. Yeah, never experienced a leech encounter before. Me neither. I'm like,
oh, it's fun stuff. Let me tell you.
I bet you it isn't. But yeah, so so they get to the leeches, right? And he pulls it out and faints. And you experienced it?
I have.
I'm sorry. Well, I don't know what you do about that. You didn't experience Sandlot and Stand By Me. You experienced Goonies too?
No, I've never been on an adventure like that.
I've been in the cave system, but it was a part of a field trip, so it's not so much Goonies.
Nah, but I honestly can't say that I've experienced the Goonies.
Yeah.
I would like to.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't want to come across.
Money, yes, but without the adventure, absolutely. Anyway,
I mean, coming across a pirate ship full of gold, you touch it, you die.
no, I'm good.
One Eye Willie.
I'm good. I see enough of them. Hey, anyway, all right. So after all this, they finally get to the body, and it becomes real to him. Like there it is. It really is. And it was the train knocked him out of his shoes. And yeah, there's a body. And it's crazy. It's there. It reminds me a lot of Boys in the Hood. I just was thinking about this because at the beginning of the movie, that's what that one kid's like. Hey, you want to see a dead body?
Maybe that's what I remember. Because he got stabbed or something, right?
I'm pretty sure the kid.
So I'm confusing Boys in the Hood to that scene.
Good. I don't know how, but okay. But
because they found a dead body.
Yeah, they did. Kids. Like the kids knew the dead body, but then the gang member dude was like, "Hey man, that dead body ain't messing with you. Leave it alone." And then like he said, he took his football.
Smart man.
He took his football and he said, "Man, I could buy 100 balls." And he hold a stack of money. But that movie is great though. But anyway, we should review that one day.
I think
that's a coming of age film. I believe it's.
You know what else is a coming of age film? Well, not really, but it is a black movie that I want to review with you.
Do tell.
I want to review House Party and Class Act with Kid and Play. I know you're not the biggest fan of Class Act these days, but I own it, darn it.
Okay, we will have to. But
that is my favorite comedy that they did together was Class Act.
Okay.
I loved it.
We're at the pivotal point.
I know we just found a body, but
we're at the body, man. I'm sorry, guys.
Here I am talking about Kid and Play.
Yeah. Hola, hey. All right, let's see. School Days. Oh yeah, I feel you on that. I'm gonna put that up right in a minute. Yeah, I was thinking that too. That with Boys in the Hood scene. Yeah, absolutely. And School Days. There's an epic Spike Lee film, which you probably never seen.
I keep on missing his work.
His earlier stuff is better than his later stuff. It's in my opinion. But yeah, I agree. So they get to the body, but at the same time, unbeknownst to them, Ace and his gang is on their way to the body too. And so they get there, and then at this moment, Georgie is having a moment where he's like, not Georgie, I'm sorry, Gordy. Very similar. They both became writers.
Yeah.
This is the same kid.
When Georgie dies, dude, Pennywise.
Yeah, what's the other Bill?
Bill.
I'm sorry. I did. I put
you put me.
Put you. But anyway, so Gordy is having a moment where he's like, why did my brother have to die? And then he also mentioned, why does my father not love me? Why does he hate me?
That's powerful right there. That whole scene was powerful.
Yeah, just like, because honestly, as a kid, growing up, I always did truly want my father's love. Not saying that he didn't love me, but I just didn't. At the time growing up, he didn't really know how to, show it. It wasn't until he became a Christian that my father's relationship grew. And now today we have a great relationship. I love my dad. I love my dad then, but yeah. But my father always provided for us. He was in the house. I thank God I grew up with both parents. And my parents created who we are. I dedicate this podcast to my mom. She's the one that really got me in the movie. So, but yeah, I really felt him though. I felt, because you have that moment, and you mentioned this, that you had a moment in your life that you was seeking the love of your dad, and you didn't, your dad didn't really know how to show you that.
No, not at all. Me and my dad didn't get close until my son was born, so it took a lot of years. I was just different than everyone else in my family. I was. Brother? Yeah, me and my brother are night and day. Yeah. Honestly, we are. We're night and day. I always felt like the black sheep of the family. I joke about it that I'm the black sheep. I embrace that because I'm different, But yeah, I mean, me and my dad never, I did football for him, and he didn't really come to any of my games. So he went to one, and so I quit because it was like it wasn't my thing, and I knew what my thing was. 'Cause ever since I was a little boy, I always wanted to act or tell a story some way. I didn't know about writing at that point, but I knew after watching Jaws, I wanted to do what Spielberg was doing. Like that's the main reason I call myself a Spielberg kid, because he inspired the creative side. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, me and my dad didn't really connect
until like
till,
after your dad,
till
until
Dawson was born. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now we have a great relationship.
Yeah, like my father, just like I remember, I do regret there was times where my dad wanted to show me like how to do things. Like I had like my cousin Jamal, his father, I love him to death too. My uncle too. He was he was the fun dad to my cousin. Like he'd pick us up, take us to like Gaddyland. You remember Gaddyland here in Bowling? Did you ever go to it, Mr. Gaddy's?
I
Same
think
thing.
I went once.
Yeah, but he'd take us there, take us to Aladdin's Castle at the mall or something. We would just do fun stuff. He was like the fun, cool. He was my uncle. You know, he is my uncle, but he's a fun, cool dad, and pick up my cousin and I, and just take us on like these little adventures, like going fishing and things like that. Just my father, he was a hard worker. He was a hard working man, and he constantly was working, whether it was like, um, working for the company he worked for, or working in tobacco with my grandfather, who was a tobacco farmer, and he also had cattle, so he helped on the farm.
My grandfather too.
And we're very similar, and then or my dad would just be doing stuff around the house, or he also had his own lawn mowing business that I helped out with my cousin, Devon, because I know your real name, but anyway, it's so hard for me to do it. But anyway, but yeah, he had our own business, and we would help out with that. But just growing up though, I never really, I felt like I was always awkward, around him, because I didn't really want to do those things. I didn't really want to learn how. I remember taking me out to the side of the house and showing me how to clean fish. And then helping me, showing me how to clean rabbits and stuff like that, like things like that.
You never really got to clean any rabbits.
Yeah, I had
fish.
He showed me how to. Yeah, I never did there, but yeah,
you don't want to.
He showed me how to scale, get the scales off, and then how to gut it, and how to, you remember, what I'm talking about.
I do. I didn't like it.
I didn't like, because back in the time, it just like it's just the smell of it. I just remember the image of a newspaper and blood and just these things, and I just didn't know how to respond to it. But I was a kid, but now I know that my father was just trying to show me how to survive, how to how to do certain things. If I don't know how to fix this, or I know how to bottle feed a calf if I need to feed a calf. I know how to do something.
Moment in City Slickers.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know how to do that, but and I know how to strip tobacco, things like that. I learned that from my dad and my granddad. But yeah, but I still wanted that relationship that I didn't really have until I got older, and he became a Christian, because we can now. Christ brought us closer together. I am a Christian. I don't deny that, but yeah, that scene with Gordy was so powerful, because all he wants is for his father to see him and love him, and he had a dream that his father was like. I think. Now let me ask you: you think it was a dream or a flashback for him when his father says it should have been you?
I think it's a dream. I don't think.
You don't think a parent would straight out say that?
Not a good parent.
But that's the feeling that he thought. He had that feeling that it should have been, because nobody really cares about me. Everybody cares about my brother that's no longer here, and so maybe I should have been the one that died, and he should be alive, because nobody would miss me. And that's that. I growing up, honestly, dealing with depression. I have depression. It's just something that you always think about, but it's a real thing. And if you hurting out there, man, reach out to somebody, because there's people out here that truly love you and care about you. I just want you to know that. Yeah, I don't mean take it to a dark place, but we just want you to know that we do care about you, honestly. Brandon, true?
Very true.
Yeah.
I mean, I can speak of it too. I've dealt with depression in the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Been a minute.
You know, I went through cancer. I went through multiple back surgeries. I went through disability. I mean, having to give up your job, not wanting to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they told me if you hurt your back again, there's nothing we can do. You know, it changes you, and you know,
Feel less than.
you feel less than. And I went to a dark place. I went to a place where I didn't think anyone cared about me,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to a really dark place.
I care about you.
I know you told me several times.
I actually
He'll
did
randomly message me and say,
man, I love you, man.
and I'm like, how you doing? I was like, I'm good. Something up? That's like, no, I just want you to know I care about you. It's like, that's Aaron, and like,
This is me, man.
it is you. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I can honestly say, you know, I know what you go through. I mean, depression is it's not a joke.
And I felt like that's what Gordy was going through. Like I think underlining, he was a very depressed kid. You know, he didn't really show it. He didn't really express his, and that's what people say about me. You don't express your feelings, and I have an issue learning, like, you know, how to tell people how I feel. You know, but he tells it in a way of characters, like the pie eating contest kid with lard ass. You know, it was like an expression of how he felt of getting revenge of people. You know, maybe not seeing him, but as just a caricature and making fun of him, you know. And I grew up being made fun of as well. But yeah, I had my own bullies. You had your own bullies, you know.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, but when you get your revenge against your bully, that's what we're gonna talk about next. Because Kiefer comes up. What happens?
What happens?
Yeah, Kiefer shows up. Ace.
I completely forgot about it. Yeah, he gets knocked down. It was Chris, right?
Well, he shows up and he pretty much tells him, "Hey, I'm gonna take this body."
Yeah, he shows up and he's wanting to take the body. What are you gonna do?
Do you mind reading that?
This is from Ace Arcadia. I dealt with depression as well, so I understand it. After my mom passed, 2007, I went through a dark period myself.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear about that, Ace.
Yeah, my mom also passed away, bro. You know, it's been 5 years now, and there's, brother, there's not a day that goes by that you don't think about your mom. You know, and she was truly an amazing woman for me, and she was the type of woman that would open her door up, or house up for people, anyone. I have literally legitimate 2 sisters, but I have multiple, sisters that are cousins or friends of the family, or brothers that are friends of the family, because we had multiple people in and out of our house, and my mom fed them, clothed them, gave them money, whatever she needed to do to kind of help folks get on their feet. And just a testament of who she was, her character. And she was truly a willing worker. I'm sorry to hear about your mom. But yeah, man, if you ever need to reach out, you can always message us. Even on our Facebook page, we have a Facebook page as well, Market Movie Podcast. Feel free to message us, or message me personally. Brandon request me, that's fine, or Brandon, and we'll love to talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, what were you saying though?
He was. They wanted to keep the body. They wanted to get I don't know if Ace
the reward.
I don't know if Ace really wanted the reward though. Really, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know his crew wanted. It was all about the reward.
Mm-hmm.
But Ace, I just think, I don't know. He just came off so sick and twisted, like, I don't know what he really wanted.
That's very true. My mom treated all friends like family. Amen. That's what's up. But yeah, he wanted that reward. He didn't really want. He wanted the body because he takes stuff. Whether it's the hat from Gordy that his brother gave him. Mm-hmm. That's just his thing, and he needed to be taken down a peg or two. And I thought that's what the epilogue was going to be, was like them saying, Ace finally got his revenge on Chambers, something like that. Because because he's like, you think it's over, it's not over. It's never over. You're wrong, or whatever. Which
Yeah.
you know,
Yes. Definitely Ace comes off like someone that can't let things go.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Ace ended up moving to Derry and stalking Bill and them and killing his dad. I don't know. It's just I think it's the same. He's pretty much the same character from that was in It, but they had different names. Very similar. Cool. I sent a friend request on Facebook. Thanks. You're welcome, brother. But yeah, we this movie. So when they find the body, the other kids were like, "Hey, we're gonna take the body back," and then like he said, "No, we're not taking him back. No one's taking him."
Yeah.
But they did an anonymous tip to tell people where the body is, which honestly, nothing really stopping Ace and them from just turning back around and claiming the body. But okay, I guess he was punked out that much that he
See,
left.
that's what happens when you punk out a bully. If it's physical or it's emotional or whatever, mentally, punk them out, they leave.
Yeah, I had a bully. I had two bullies in high school. Two real situations. One, like I sat next to a guy. I'm not gonna say his name, and he used to make fun of me every single day in class, every day. And one day I just had enough, and he's a football player, and I stood up and slapped the fire out of the back of his head. I don't know what. I didn't even think about it. I just stood up and just slapped him, and he was. And then I thought about it. I'm like, oh Lord, it's probably a bad idea. And so he was about to, but then like he stopped and didn't, because if he hit me, I would have died probably.
Yeah.
Like I was small. I was very small, but my teacher stopped and broke us up or whatever, broke us away from each other, and moved me next to a guy named. I had two friends named Joey Smith. One's passed away. One is still my brother to this day. He set me next to Joey Smith, Randall. The one that is a pro wrestler. Set me next to him, and I was mad, and I just sat down and I started drawing. And first thing I draw when I was drawing wrestlers or something was Ultimate Warrior. I would draw the mask and stuff like that. And he saw that I was drawing Ultimate Warrior, and he said, "Hey, you like wrestling?" I said, "Yeah, And then he pulled out, a WWF magazine or something, and then it was just on from there. Still one of my best friends to this day. So things happen for a reason. The other bully. Just one day in gym, he always messed with me. And one day I got mad and picked something up and hurled it at his head. He ducked, but never messed with me again. But
yeah, I mean,
it's just.
I remember I was like, I don't know, like third, fourth grade, and this eighth grader had always picked on me, and I was like, you know what, I've had enough. We're gonna fight, and we did, and he kicked my butt, but.
It was like,
but he never bothered me again.
What's that movie where the whole movie is the dude is waiting for the bell to ring because he's gonna get
movies like
what I'm talking about? Like there's a movie is in the 80s where he knows that
is Matt Dillon in it?
Yeah, Matt Dillon is a villain. Is
the bully.
Yeah, it's the bully. Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it. I know what you're talking about.
Does he try to get a friend? Like he try to recruit a guy to kind of be his bodyguard, essentially.
I think it's called the Bodyguard.
My Bodyguard, or something?
My Bodyguard, or something like that.
Yeah, and at the end, it's like we're gonna fight, it's funny because that's pretty much you like okay, no, we're gonna fight, but then at the end you got beat up, but he didn't.
He didn't. You know what? Years later, he apologized to me.
So
I mean, it just showed me I remember he said, I respected you for it. I was like, you crazy. I'm like, and he was very tall. He's like 6'10" now. Back then, he was probably like 6'4".
Oh, wow.
And I was like 4 foot something.
Oh, Lord.
It was like David versus Goliath, but not the same results.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I had no fear.
Yes.
And he was picking on me, and I was like, this is going to end.
It reminds me of life when, Goldmouth was like, you going to eat your cornbread? And then like Eddie tried to tell Martin, he's like, no man, don't give him your cornbread, man. Get your own portion of cornbread. No, he can't eat his cornbread. Go get your own portion of cornbread. And then like he said, how about I eat your cornbread? No, you ain't gonna eat my cornbread. We can fight, whatever. And then he fought him. Then he got beat up.
Yeah.
And but at the end, he ended up getting he ended up really becoming friends with him, but yeah, I thought that was great. So at the end of this movie, they decide not to get the body and they go back to Castle Rock and they part ways. And the way it sounds is if they really stopped being friends. Like it mentions that Terry, that's the last he really, he'll see Terry and Vern briefly in the hallways, but they eventually became just other faces in the crowd.
Yeah, faces.
And I've had friends like that. You had friends like that where y'all was close, but then now you're like, hey, yeah, I remember that guy.
It's very true because it's kind of what happened with me and Josh. We just became strangers almost until like literally 2 or 3 weeks before he died. I was picked on by a bully. I was in target practice class in school. I wanted to get that sucker.
Oh, well, I'm glad you didn't get that sucker, I guess. I'm glad that you're good now. 3 O'Clock High is another good 80s movie. This is from Ace, where the main characters stand up to the bullies. Yeah, it is. I forgot about that movie as well.
I haven't seen that one.
But yeah, so they, at the end, they become just, Chambers and Gordy stayed friends to the extent, and Gordy actually Chambers went to college because he didn't think that he had a name, and that's what his little beef was, that he stole the money but he put it back, but then the teacher stole it but he still took the rap for it, and so he's gonna always be looked at as a thief, as a hoodlum, as a but he's saying I'm not that guy. I actually have a heart, I actually have feelings, and he goes to become a lawyer, but eventually, and it always broke my heart, is that he got killed trying to break up a fight. Yeah, knife fight. He got stabbed in the throat, and ended up dying almost immediately. But it's just crazy. And then obviously, with River actually ODing and dying, it just sends more shockwaves.
Yeah.
Because like this is River's greatest role in my opinion, as well. So
I haven't seen a lot of his films actually.
I've seen more of his stuff when he was earlier. I didn't see his stuff later, But yeah, but no, the movie ends with him finishing his little book.
I mean, I love how it ends though. Like I've never had friends like these.
When I was 12.
When I was 12, but has anyone?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's how he ended it. Has anyone? Yeah. And I love that because the truth is, no, I can't say I have.
No, at 12 years old, the 12-year-old Aaron, 12 to 13 years old, man, my best friends then obviously aren't my best friends now, but it just, we were young. We didn't think about bills. We didn't think about responsibilities. We was like, let's go find something to eat. Let's do other stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and give this, how many markouts? 5. What are we doing next week?
Summer school.
Be here for that. Aaron Whitlow.
Brandon Spivey.
Thank you for marking out with us.